Alrighty. Let's see. We're gonna see it for a second. I'm gonna start it again and then come back. Y'all, that's not me. That's the IG. I got 1 for 1. Okay, let's see. Oh, thank you. I just wish I had some makeup. Look. Okay, there goes Eddie. Okay, I see him. Okay. On him in. Okay, y'all. He should be coming on my live. He's gonna come in a few minutes. He got my request. I just gotta see what's going on. What is really going on? We're right there. He's right here. I don't know what's going on. I know always when I have the amazing interviews, y'all, when we got like this happened before, y'all. It's like I said, it don't bother me at all. It's just that we just have to wait till the people come on the lives. They'll be trying to come in and ruin and all this stuff like that. Let me see if I can go to Eddie's page. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's see. No, it's saying he's unable to join. I don't know what's going on. Let me call him and see y'all, but I have no idea. Hold on, let me see. I have no idea. He's on.
Hello? Yep,
There it
check
is.
one. Okay.
There it is.
Uh,
I was like, soon as we did, I said, there it go. There it go. How you doing, Mr. Berkeley? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I have my technology locked down,
Right, I'm right. I'm
but
about to
I
say you
had,
the king of this.
yeah, I had to have, I had to redo the permissions and make sure that everything could go through. Yeah,
Yeah,
I keep it
it's
locked
okay.
down. You know what I mean?
Right, I know
Yeah.
because you're the legend, you're the producer, so I already know you know all about this technology stuff. But before I do get started, I want to introduce myself. I am Chastity Buckley. I am the host of Midnight R&B, homage to Midnight Love BET, where I give all my R&B artists, songwriters, producers, everybody that has changed the game R&B their flowers and their roses while they're here to celebrate R&B music. And y'all, I'm here, y'all, with a legend. This is a legend, an R&B legend, multi-platinum composer, producer, songwriter. I mean, a king hitmaker that I'm just so proud to call friend, Mr. Eddie Berkeley, aka GoalFingaz.
No doubt. Well,
Thank you.
first I had to thank you also for inviting me, and just a little caveat. I couldn't have done it without the collaborations and the help of people like KG, Darren Lighty, and all the other producers. We had a camaraderie that was great, and we pulled together and made success, definitely.
Yes, yes, but definitely, I want to definitely celebrate you, Mr. Berkeley, because I think for me,
Thank you.
learning about you, you have really changed the game in history of R&B music. People that really kind of broke through in the industry. I mean, you went from Next to Jaheim, a guy I learned about who I was when I was 11 years old, which was crazy because I'm in sixth grade learning about math, but I want to listen to R&B music, and just seeing Jaheim just break through on the scene was just so amazing for me, and I'm so happy and so proud. And I want to also honor you and share your roses on my platform because you really, really have changed the game so much. Not only in R&B music, also on soundtracks, which we're definitely going to talk about on my show. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and thank you today, guys. We are celebrating the 20th anniversary of Ghetto Love by Jaheim, which I am beyond excited. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for just coming, just sharing your experience and your story on the platform, and just being a legend that I admire since I was 11.
Yeah, I love that part of your story when you shared we had that first conversation.
Yeah.
I immediately acknowledged the passion you have for that era of music, and that's when we pretty much thrived the first time around. And it's just beautiful that we can impact a life like yours and inspire you to do research and to make sure you go in hard on doing interviews. I really appreciate your work.
Yes,
Definitely.
Definitely 100% from the bottom of my heart. And thank you so much. But before we get to start and talk about Jaheim, I want to get to talk about you and your history of, music and where you come from. And I know you're from Long Island, New York. So you're from the
Yes,
NY. So I wanted to
yes,
talk to you
yes.
about how was it like growing up in Long Island and how did you get your inspiration of R&B music and who were some of your influences before you got to the R&B game?
Wow. Well, Long Island is a haven for talent. Busta Rhymes, LL Cool J, Eric Sermon, and all these guys. I used to, be in circles with a lot of these people, and over time, you make your connections, and then you make your way, and we basically just evolved in the musical environment. With me personally, as a musician, I started with a Fisher-Price xylophone at the age of 4, and I used to tinkle on that thing. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I know I was making melody. It was just the weirdest thing. But when I got to 7 years old, we got a piano, the family, and I remember I used to bang on that thing like day in and day out. And you know what? My parents, they never complained. My mom, my mom especially, used to always just encourage me, just, keep doing it. Or do that again, and I'll do it again. And before you know it, it turned into something really big. And then further on in my life, in junior high school, I used to join the choir. I was interested in choir. And then as soon as the teachers would hear me play piano, they would make me play for the choir. So I played for the choir in junior high and high school, and I was just noted as a very musical individual. I was in all the talent shows too, and it was just a big part of my upbringing, music.
That's great. So for your love of music, did you like deeply get invested in R&B? Like, did you get your start in R&B, and how did it go for transition? You just playing on that, the xylophone and all those type of instruments. And who were some of your inspirations?
Well, yeah, a lot of musicians, a lot of producers, we come out of the church. So my dad was a pastor, and as a preacher's kid, and being a musician as a preacher's kid, you got a job already.
Oh yes.
So I used to play the piano in the church. We had church actually in our basement for a couple of years, and I just lost my mom last week,
Sorry about that.
and yeah, and the family and I, we were going through pictures and stuff like that. So we have a lot of pictures of the church in the basement, and we were surprised at how many people we had in that basement. So it was a huge thing that we were doing, and I would play the piano. And I'll tell you a funny story with my mom. I was playing the piano in church in the basement, right? And I fell asleep playing the piano for at least a good 15 seconds. And all of a sudden, I just woke up and my hands were still going. And I was like, oh my God, I was like, did I mess up? Did whatever happen? So I just looked around to see if somebody noticed. And my mom was looking right at me and she pointed her finger like that. And I thought for sure I was going to get in trouble. But she told me the story. She told me how long I was sleeping for. My fingers were still going and everything. And we just laughed about it. So I just thought it was really an incredible story. Yeah.
But that's amazing. I mean, you had a gift of an ear for you to just go to sleep for a hot minute and come back and just play the song that you were playing. That's amazing. But moms, they are hard
Yeah.
like that. And
Yeah.
my prayers go out to you. My heart goes out to you. I definitely been in that
Thank
situation. I
you.
lost my mom too.
Yes.
Back when I graduated high school myself. So I am with you, Mr. Berkeley. My prayers are with you. And I'm always here for you. And your mom is definitely, our moms are definitely watching over us. So just know she is in a
Absolutely.
better place. Thank you so much. And I'm so happy you shared that story because a lot of us, when we talk about R&B music, we talk about kind of like the foundation of it. A lot of it comes from the gospel roots. And you talking about that and
Yes.
transitioning from that. So now you're in that, and now you're going to college. So you're going into college. You're going to Five Towns College as a graduate, and
Yes.
then you also
Yes.
go into the engineering part, and then you also went in paralegal. So how did you kind of coexist with all three of those, and how did you make that work? And then how did you get started in the industry?
Well, I always had an interest in law. It was a strange thing. Even my sister earlier, she would notice that I would like documentation and paperwork and stuff. So it was just this thing. My grandfather was a school teacher, so we would go to school, regular school, and then we would come home and have school again. So
Wow.
even though we used to complain and bicker about it, you know what? Essentially, it made us into some beautiful minds because I really thrived in Scholastic. So I had this idea to just, take a paralegal course so I can understand legal language. And, that journey caused me to be able to understand the language. And then not only that, but also understand, how law is recognized and how different things, correlate with other things as well. So being able to put connections together and understand the legal flow of things is really a critical thing, I think, for a lot of artists. If you could scan your contract ahead of time and just know what you're talking about when you're talking to your legal, it makes a better situation for you because, you have a better understanding instead of being, dependent on someone explaining something to you. So I did that, and it was something that I'm very, very happy that I did. I'm also certified in wills, trusts, and estates, which is good too. So trust law apparently is everything that governs life. So
It's true.
I'm using that in collaboration with something else that I'm studying right now that later on I'll share.
Oh, that is so great. Well, congratulations on that. And I feel that you're saying all this practice, you kind of use that in the industry. So for yourself, I know this kind of geared you towards it. So, just to make sure, oh my God, we got Dara Delight on the live. Hi, Mr. Dara Delight. That's the super producer, Dara Delight. How
Nice.
you
What's
doing?
up, brother?
You got your people on here. They are showing out. Yes, I love that. But
Yes,
definitely for sure,
that's what's up.
just looking, Mr. Berkeley, like you really took your craft, and especially with law, and use it in the industry. So for you, you knew how to read contracts. You kind of knew how to navigate your way through this business. So you were kind of prepared for what you were going to get yourself into when you got into the industry. So
Well,
now,
the paralegal, I'm sorry, just if I can
go ahead.
just inject, the paralegal part came a little bit later on. So, I just really had this craving to understand what went wrong. Because there is no such thing as a perfect scenario when it comes to the music industry and law. There is a lot of loopholes. There's a lot of things, and things really bothered me to the level where instead of getting frustrated and just letting it go, a part of my mind kind of triggered it into, we need to find out these building blocks, what went wrong, and how things work. So that's when I pursued that study.
Come on, you better preach. And I agree with that. I feel like, the more education, the more knowledgeable you are. And I know for me, being from where I come from, I didn't come from a lot of family with a lot of background, but I've always was knowledgeable about, just gaining information and just understanding about how certain things work, whatever your craft or your passion and what you want to do. So I just love how you said that. I wish I almost went into paralegal. I almost thought about it, Mr. Berkeley. I was going to talk to you about that, privately, but I was like, what? I'll probably just let that pass because I think I found my
Hey,
passion.
I got some offers myself to work for a couple of firms, and I was like, no, because I had a couple of friends that I already, met that were paralegals, and they were doing all the work and like getting no sleep. They'd have no weekend, no life. I mean, they're making money, making a dream, but they were overstressed. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do it.
I feel you on that. I agree, definitely did. So now, since we're talking about you got into the record engineering and music production, how did you get into the music industry, and how did you get in the process of getting your first breaking your contracts and stuff?
Well, I was doing a lot of work, at studios and just, collaborating with people that I would meet. And I lived in Florida in, wow, counting the years back is just kind of difficult. It's like you don't even really want to go there. But back. I had this one studio in Florida with a group, a couple of friends of mine, and we thrived. We really made some connections with Babyface's wife, me personally with Babyface's wife, Candy Tooks, different A&Rs at LaFace and all of these other places. So we were completing demos, writing, recording, doing things. So I had a manager about a year or two after that that introduced me to KG. KG was looking for other collaborators to work, under his label, Divine Mill. So, I met with KG, and it just really connected from there. He acknowledged my musical ability, and I definitely saw some really, really dope things that he used to do in the realm of sampling. being a DJ, you may not know like the technicals as far as theory, music theory and stuff like that, but this man has an incredible ear to be able to put things together. So
Wow.
when he would create, when he would create a foundation, whether it be a rhythm, some type of sample or something, or he might just say simply, I have an idea. At that point, it was just my idea or my job to really fit that into a musical context,
Mhm.
merge it, and then make something. So we used to do this over and over again, and these are a lot of the hits that you hear that we collaborated on. So
Yes. And yes, the person
that's
he's talking about, guys, KG. KG is the member, one of the founding members in Naughty by Nature, which he is so
yes,
dope. Then I was really amazed how the
very
way he
dope.
kind of transitioned from hip hop to R&B. But like you said, they all can coexist with each other. And I think that's amazing how he kind of transitioned from a DJ to his own record label and then in R&B. Because it was very interesting. When I seen his face when I was a little girl, I was like, he's a Naughty by Nature. I said, where did this come from? So just seeing him transition into that and then create all these hits with you. I mean, y'all were like a collaborative team in Divine Mill. It was just really dope and amazing for how y'all to find Jaheim and, put Next and all these people that you really had a foundation with yourself. But not even that, you really, really had a sound that was really very interesting for myself. But not even
Yes.
that, it was a sound that was invested in Divine Mill. So now we're in the part of you in the industry and now you're with KG and Divine Mill and starting off. So how did you get introduced to Jaheim?
Well, Jaheim is KG's artist, just like Next was KG's artist also. So I came into a situation that he had a plan already for, for different artists that he had already been pursuing.
Mm-hmm.
So after things were solidified, we really got to work. And the beautiful thing, like I was mentioning earlier, it took a group of people. There was Cliff Lighty, Darren Lighty, there was, myself, there was Fonz, which was a member in Coffee Brown, the male,
Yes.
yeah,
We just
and
celebrated Coffee Brown last week.
nice. So we had a camaraderie. We had this really good, healthy thing going. We all found, because you already know when you get a bunch of producers or musicians
Yeah.
together, it's going to be some competition. But we can use it to our advantage to still find our own uniqueness within it, and then make something out of it. And that's what we were doing. We were
Yeah.
definitely going back and forth, creating this song, that song, that song. Before you know it, all the songs put together became the album, and then it just made history. So it was a really good environment, and
Mm-hmm.
we just pushed through and made it happen. And then you got RL, who's a great writer.
Yeah.
He was always with the pen, like sick with the pen. So we had just really all the great elements to make something happen. We were working out of New Jersey, and it was wonderful. It was really wonderful.
So what at the time was Jaheim like your first artist or was it Next like around the time? Because did you like started transitioning producing in the late 90s to the 2000s or how did you get in the start of like working with Jaheim? Was it around that time?
Well, actually, Next was the first ones that we worked on,
Okay.
the first group that we worked on. And, Jaheim was kind of just waiting. Jaheim
Hmm.
waited. He was like the last one really that I was a part of his project. But Next was, we started like in late 98
Hmm.
into 99. And then they were finally released in 2000, whereas Jaheim was 2001. So everything, took a particular stages of development. I mean, we didn't
Hmm.
work on them all at the same time. It's just whatever commitment KG had, because he was in control of the business side, obviously, because it was his label.
Right.
But we still would put things together, little ideas together, and then when it came to working on Jaheim, we had a lot of ideas and things already in the making. But
Hmm.
yeah, it was a process, definitely.
That's dope. I just love it. So in this process, you're working with Jaheim, and now you're starting with Ghetto Love. So in Ghetto Love, I noticed that you were on 3 tracks on Ghetto Love, which I realized myself. But the
Yes.
one track I think everybody really loves the most that shot the number one is Just in Case. And Just in Case,
Oh yeah.
I was
Oh
just
yeah.
playing it earlier, and people were just excited and happy. And I wanted to talk to you about that. How did you start with Just in Case? What came about? And is it really true that I heard this song actually was not supposed to go to Jaheim? He was supposed to go to somebody else, but you can talk more about it on the on your
Yes.
thing.
Yes. Just in Case actually was on Coffee Brown first, and it was a little slower. It was more like a mid tone groove, and it was tight in my respect. But KG just needed something that was more substantial on Jaheim,
Right.
and we gave it a shot and it worked out. And actually, that was penned by RL also, so it fit really good on Coffee Brown. I still have that reference. Once in a while, I might revisit those things, but ultimately the Jaheim one, it became a huge hit, but it
Yeah.
was still the same lyrics, the same, definitely the arrangement was a little different vocally, but yeah, it was a good record, really good record.
Right, definitely. And then when I listen to Just in Case, I really realized too when I looked at the video and stuff like that, it kind of references to sound like a lost loved one. So can you kind of explain like Just in Case, like the melody and the beat, like how did y'all come with that? Because it does sound like it is like a lost love song, but it was really fast, so it was kind of like a dance groove in some type of way.
Yes, yes, exactly. It follows almost the same vibe as Wifey,
Yeah.
and the Ideal record that we did, so
Oh yeah.
whatever. So, that was the element that we were trying to create to just kind of stay in the fold. And if you notice too, like DJs will play a lot of those songs back to back
Oh
because
yeah.
of the way the flow is, so that's what I'm saying. KG as a DJ, he kind of has a plan already, so it
Yeah.
just kind of made sense. Basic tempo, same tempo. These are
Hmm.
things that could always flow together. So I think
Right.
that's one of the advantages he has. Being a producer that is a DJ also. So
Definitely, definitely. And I do agree. I remember myself when I was 11. I actually moved to Louisiana myself, and I was really just interested, moving from one state to another. So I was kind of transitioning into one state, but I had to transition from different cultures, different backgrounds. And, for me, my gateway was music. So I used to watch this TV show called MTV2. And so MTV2 would kind of play
nice.
all those R&B hits that, I kind of missed back when I was at home. And then when I've seen Jaheim's Just in Case, I was like, wait a minute, I know who he is. I remember him from Anything. And I was like, I like Anything. And then when he was coming out with Hit After Hit, Just in Case, Anything, Could It Be? Could It Be was a big hit. I mean, y'all were
Yeah.
really going with those hits. And I think for Jaheim, it was just so great for him just to, come out, first time album, a brand new artist, coming breaking through the scene. And what I loved, I had watched the interview not too long ago with Ariel. Ariel kind of talked about Jaheim a little bit about how he really, really worked hard on this album. And everything
Yeah, he
about
did.
how the way he came up, about his background, he really, really came from a big family. And one thing I loved about the story Ariel made me understand too is Jaheim, he's really dedicated to what he loves and what he does. And what y'all did for this album for him, it's like, he's real and he's genuine. His authenticity came through this album. And I just felt like, from where he came from New Jersey, from the hard knock lives, and from where he came now, it was just so beautiful to make him transition from where he came from. And I just really love that story about him. And I was interested with the title Ghetto Love. And then when I thought about it, I was like, well, it does sound like Jaheim. And when I understood his story and understand the passion that he had for his music, it just really does something to him. And
Yes.
Just in Case, I remember years later, I would say back before pandemic 2018, I went to the club for New Year's Eve and they played this at the DJ and they had the whole music video out and I was dancing and I'm
Nice.
like, oh, this is Just in Case. And it just took me back, but it was just so dope that, people still remember get on the dance floor and have a good time. And I wanted to say also too with this song has been so amazing. It's been sampled by a British pop singer, and it's also kind of transitioned into pop along. So, how do you feel, Mr. Berkeley, that people have really taken this R&B hit and transitioned it to other genres? How do you feel about that?
Well, I love this digital and the era of digital that we're in because
Hmm.
it really makes music go a lot further.
Yeah.
It's available to more people all over the world. It's just accessible in any mobile device or any internet connection. So it's really interesting. People can see things and become inspired and
Yeah.
then grab onto it, gravitate towards it, and use it. So that's pretty
Hmm.
cool. I didn't know about that one where they sampled it. What's the name of the
Yes.
artist?
It's it was called Magic. I think the artist was named Magic. It's called Moon Boots, and they sampled this song. They
Hmm,
actually sampled the lyrics, the song. And Ellie Goulding,
nice.
she's an English pop star. In 2016, she actually covered this whole song. So she covered this whole song. So how do you feel that people from the UK
Wow.
have really taken this song and really made it, you know, their own as well. They really took this song and made it a pop hit as well. So not even only R&B, you transitioned to pop as well. That's huge. And I'm amazed at that because
Hey,
R&B has
I,
not one genre, it's everything.
right. And I just say that that's success. We did what we're supposed to do, which is inspire people.
Yeah.
So to inspire a generation through music to the level that they want to redo it, they really have an affinity with it, and that's awesome. That's what we
Yeah.
implant into the music, parts of ourselves. Definitely parts of Jaheim. Just knowing him and just trying to
Yeah.
put all the building blocks together for something that he would just use, and then also just send out that vibration. And it's
Hmm.
interesting when people pick it up and they love it to that level. Hey, that's great. We did our job for real.
And that's what it's all about because music transcends all walks of life, not just one, but all walks of life,
Yeah.
which I love. So now with this album dropped today, 20 years ago, March 13th, and it went
Wow.
platinum, which is so dope and so amazing, which I'm excited about. And also, this album has been so talked about from years to come. In 2018, the hip hop debate actually did a debate on this album against Tank. So today is the 20th anniversary of Tank's album as well, Force of Nature. And I love how the way they kind of broke down on how the way both albums were at. But just to say those two artists alone, they made a debate about it. How do you feel that people made a debate about Ghetto Love, an album that you were a part of, but not even that? They actually said this album was better than Tank's. But we love both. But how do you feel that in hip hop debates, and this is an R&B classic with hip hop elements, how do you feel that this album got talked about in the hip hop debate about the longevity and the impact it's made on people?
That's funny. Well, we had that internal camaraderie, but there's an external camaraderie too,
Yeah.
which is all the other artists that are doing things. Like in many cases, we'd be in the studio and then they'd be working next door. So we would interact with each other, exchange information. And, I know some of those musicians, on
Yeah.
Tank's team and stuff like that. I did a song with Tweet. It actually didn't go on her album, but still, I know all of those guys, all her musicians and stuff, and it was really interesting working with them. But yeah, it's just, it's real competitive, like I said. So there'd be similar vibes here and there. Everybody's trying to, just stay relevant or
Yeah.
just stay in a way that it would work in the
Mm.
radio format. So, that's just how things go,
Mm.
but it still was a good experience. There was no drama. It was just all love. We just kind of did what we did and just, made it happen.
I think that's amazing. And then for this album alone to be talked about with the likes of a Tank, and just even that just goes to show the legacy of Army that y'all were transitioning was just so beautiful. And for Just In Case to go #1 and go platinum, how did you feel when the success did come? And you were not even just a part of Jaheim, you were part of Coffee Brown, who just made 20 years last year, which was so dope. I had honored their album, which was a classic, which I love. How did you feel that you've been a part of so many people's timeless albums, Mr. Berkeley? How do you feel about that and being a part of KG as well?
It was really good. It was really fun. Definitely no regrets. I just, think the whole experience was part of my development in
Mm-hmm.
life as an individual. And wow, it was just really an amazing journey. Every time that we had a hit or #1, it was still shocking to me, and it was still, feeling good. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, when Just In Case comes on radio, even wifey, I'd be like, oh,
Okay.
I mean, you can't help
Yeah.
but to be in a mode. It's so much of our spirit is put in there. Definitely me, on the keyboard elements,
Mm-hmm.
and it just thrives me. So I feel that energy, and I love it, and I love when I get feedback from people that
Right.
it has impacted. It's really incredible. One time I was at Walmart, and I was buying some things, and I gave the cashier lady my credit card, and she's like, "Oh, I see, entertainment on here. Are you a DJ or something?" I was like, "No, I'm a producer." And she asked me. She said, "Is there anything possibly I heard of?" I said, "Well, have you heard it? It was a light-skinned lady." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I said, well, the song Wifey from the group Next, I don't know if you heard it. She was like, oh my God. Like she started tearing and everything. And she told me
Yeah.
that was her wedding song. That was the most
Um,
incredible feeling that I've ever had in that experience. Like, it was just really, really amazing how much it brought her to tears. It brought her back to her memories of her wedding and everything. And I was like, wow. Even I went out to the car and I just sat there for a minute like, wow, this is something major. Music can really, really touch people
Oh yeah.
and really, really spark, the ideas and the emotions and just wherever they were when they heard it, it just brings back a lot of things. Music is magical. It really is.
It is, and it's so true. And like I told you, every wedding I've been to, they play wifey like it ain't nobody business. These people will go crazy. They will get crunk. I'm from Louisiana, so when we hear wifey, especially when you're at somebody's wedding because somebody's newly married and stuff, oh, the wifey will get on the floor and she will tear the floor up. So I have heard your song in so
Nice.
many walks of life, which is so amazing. Not only you did wifey, but you did beauty queen. He did Ideal
Yeah.
Whatever, and rest in peace to the member of
Yeah.
Ideal. He sadly passed away, guys. That's the classic hit that Eddie had wrote, and it's so crazy, y'all. That song Ideal Whatever was actually on the first history of the countdown of 106 in Park. So Eddie, you have been in the history books in 106 in Park. Your song was in
Wow.
the first in history. So on the countdown when first started from September 11, 2000 at 106 in Park, Ideal was like number 9 on their first countdown ever in history. So you have been in really
Nice.
impacts of books, and it's just even just dope. I mean, not only did that, you did Made to Love You by Gerald Levert, which I love. Rest in peace to Gerald Levert myself.
Yes.
You've made so many classic hits. I wanted to ask you because I had this quote from a super producer named Carlos McKinney, and I love this. And he said, "I didn't become a producer so that I could make a living, but I became a producer because I wanted to create dope music." So, what do you think the key to making a hit record, and what is your favorite hit from your catalog?
Wow, that's a good one. Well, I think production is something that's a little diluted nowadays, only
Yeah,
because it's just readily available to everybody. But, I know the elements of music theory and sight reading and, orchestration and all these other things,
yeah,
which I think are important, but it's not necessarily important for a creator because some people have just a natural organic knack to it.
mm-hmm.
But, what I do, I think is incredible in that I can take elements of the person that I'm working with and pool it into what I do so that when it transfers to them and it transfers to the audience, it comes off genuine. They can really
Yeah,
feel something. So I think that there's, a lot of technical things in there. I label them and I just kind of have my own process. But as far as me creating, I think the favorite one that I have actually might be, I like Fabulous. I
oh, I
really
love
do.
Fabulous.
Because
Yes.
it just felt good. But see, I'm
Yep.
torn between that and Jaheim's Heaven in My Eyes.
Yeah. Heaven and
You know,
West. Yes.
it's it's just a good feeling, and I
Mm-hmm.
think the uniqueness of its vibe still has yet to be captured
Yeah.
again by someone else.
Yeah.
It's a particular vibe we put into that one. I really love it. The way it swings, the way it just feels, and the way
Yeah.
it's just a uniqueness to it. So it's between those. I would say Heaven in My Eyes probably, and then, Fabulous.
Yeah, you did Remarkable too, which I really fell in love with. I was like, oh, what I learned about this Ghetto Love album, he had a lot of balladeers. He so reminds me of like a Luther Vandross-esque type of vibe. He
Yes.
definitely gives me that. And when I realized when I looked at this album, Jaheim had a lot of ballads because even though it says Ghetto Love, it's like I think the ghetto part is who he is as his background, his upbringing, but it's like the love is the ballads and the remarkable, the heaven in my eyes, the anything, all these beautiful ballads that really relate to love and just relationships. It really is heartfelt. So I love Heaven in My Eyes. It's a beautiful, beautiful ballad. It's really sweet. And I love For Moms. That's a really ballad that I really hold near dear to my heart. Be dedicated to my late mother. So definitely, guys, if you ever listen to that album,
Yeah.
it's really beautiful. And not even that, I forgot to tell everybody, Eddie, you've been a part of so many soundtracks too. Do you have a favorite
Yeah.
soundtrack? Is it Two Can Play That Game, or is it Down to Earth, or
Yeah.
Bait?
Um, I think it is Two Can Play That Game.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun creating that, and yeah, it was a lot of fun putting it together. And it
Mm-hmm.
actually, sounded great on the movie too. It just really fit. So
And which they just
Nice.
put on Netflix, which is so crazy to me. So for I think in the month of January they had put two can play the
Wow.
game on Netflix. So now all them classic cult black movies are now going into Netflix. So your music is also getting played on Netflix. So I think that is just so dope and amazing. So for myself, if you had to pick one thing, one favorite thing that you love to do, would it be producer, composing, or engineering?
That's so tricky because they're all just melted together. As I'm as I'm focusing on one, the other thing is, you know, because I
Yeah.
mean, the engineering enhanced me as a producer because I automatically know what the sound needs to be on it
Right.
in order to work with the other sound, and then put it all together. It's a process. But I think composing though, because I
Mm,
literally like to just, my process is I do a little slow meditation really quick in
yeah.
front of the piano. I just open my eyes and I just freestyle. And I got a jazz album that's coming out next month, and yes, and it's incredible. It's incredible.
Oh.
Most of it is me improvising,
Hmm.
and honestly, I gotta like listen to it over and over again in order to be able to. I gotta study it myself in order to be able to replicate it in a live, environment.
Yeah.
So that's how deep sometimes the subconscious mind, when it comes to my music, goes.
Hmm.
But yeah, composing. I love composing.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's so sweet. I didn't want to put that on the block for you because I know you love all three, but I was like, if you had to choose one, what would it be? Because I know producing is just so dope where you can just make beats. But I know for sure, I was
Yeah.
going to ask you about composing. Like, is it hard to compose soundtracks or albums? Which one is it? Like, which one's hard? Or which one's easier
Well,
to you?
it's technically the same process. You're
Okay.
just making, the song, and then they have other technical people that have to fit it into the scope of the film itself.
Hmm.
So, we're just doing the same process and then, submitting the music, which in turn, gets synced to the actual movie itself. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that is dope. That is dope, Mr. GoalFingaz. I want to ask you, what does GoalFingaz mean? Because we had talked about it, but I want the viewers to know, why did you have the nickname GoalFingaz? What is that?
Well, there was always a goal, and my goal was just expression. I
Yeah.
learned the craft of music and all the instruments that I play. It's just all different tools of expression. So the goal fingers is GOAL, which expresses my goal. And then the fingers, obviously, my fingers are really critical to playing an instrument. So it was just, a nickname that I adopted really early, and it worked well.
I think that's dope. And you said Tyra Banks played a huge role too for yourself. I know you said you really
Yes.
inspired her.
Yes, Tyra Banks came to work at Divine Mill, KG, and she was there, possibly pursuing a career in music. And, ultimately we know what her decision was to TV. But still, in the studio, I worked closely with her, me and a friend of mine, Will. She was very comfortable working with us, so, we ended up working with her on day to day. She has a beautiful voice. She has multi-talents. And, after that, I used to see her at different parties in LA and New York and here and there. And, we'd have a conversation and we developed a friendship over those years. It was really nice. She's a
Um,
beautiful, beautiful woman. Yeah.
oh, I think that is so sweet because I think a lot of people we get I guess the first glimpse of perspective of how Tyra Banks is, but I think you talking about how genuine and real she is, I think that's really remarkable because a lot of people we always get to see what the media shows us, but when we get the behind the scenes and
Right.
understand the real people, that really makes us understand for ourselves who they are. So I appreciate with that Tyra Banks story, you just being a legacy and here to everybody, and I just think it's so dope. But Mr. Eddie, if you
Yeah.
had to describe one word about Ghetto Love today, the 20th anniversary of Ghetto Love, what word would it be?
Ooh, truly ghetto. Yes.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
ghetto, you know, the person hearing it, it has a connotation. My
yeah,
connotation is neutral. You take the good and the bad, you put it together, it still tells a story. And it still has to
yeah,
speak to the soul of the person that's listening, whether their experience was bad or good.
yeah.
And, the ghetto life, we escape the ghetto life, but you never really escape the ghetto life because it's still in you.
Come
You
on.
know, we we learn how to be professional when we need to be professional, and then you got to be ghetto sometimes to just, get the point across. You know what I mean? It's the reality of life. But
Yeah.
truly, that album to me embodies the ghetto, and it was really it was a thought out plan by KG, definitely, to
Hmm.
have it be that way, and it just fits really good. If you listen to the album from beginning to end, it tells a really, really good ghetto tale that, to
It
me, is
does.
relevant even in 2021. Absolutely.
Yes, it does. My little nigga's the one he had on there. I was like, whoa, this is a little bit a lot.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, but
Yeah.
one thing I love about this I say for this because I listened to the album like days ago, and I said for me it's real authenticity. This is authentic R&B roots. It has a hip hop element to it, but you can hear the voice in Jaheim's voice about just real R&B singing that I miss sometimes a lot, nowadays because, like you said, now years have changed and kind of like R&B has changed the scope of how the way it is. But I do see now for myself, R&B is kind of slowly coming back. That real genuine type of R&B that I've been
Yes.
kind of seeing is kind of slowly coming back, which I'm very happy of. I mean, you can always kind of change certain things with the times, but you always got to keep the authenticity. Like the foundation still needs to be there, but you can always kind of be versatile. But I just feel like if that genuine R&B of like love and understanding and compassion and not too much. I'm not saying no shade to hip hop, but it's just like if we can have all of these genres coexist, I think we can have music forever. And I'm just really dope and proud that Mr. Berkeley, you are just amazing. You are an icon, in my personal opinion, R&B legend
Thank you.
for beautiful classic records I've heard since the age of 11, the age of 11.
Um,
But not even just that. I mean, I've heard you at my wedding things I've been to. I mean, I've heard you, through the years on MTV2, BT. Like I said, you were in 106 in Park history for whatever to be the first countdown song in history. I mean, that means a lot. I mean, your legacy is really imprinted in the R&B. So I just thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You are a legend, and I definitely want to give you your flowers. You and Jaheim and KG and everybody that was a part of the process because you really, really showed that Jaheim was here to stay. And 20 years later, he's still here.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Definitely.
definitely, definitely is here. And thank you so much. So before we do end our lovely live, I'm kind of sad. But, thank you, Mr. Berkeley. You just one call away from me. But do you have any upcoming projects or anything that you want to talk about, before we do end, or anything that you have going on with yourself?
Yeah. I have my own independent label now. I have really good distribution. Yeah,
Yay.
I got the advice of an attorney of mine years ago to open up multiple businesses, and
Come on.
I went into technology, so I know coding and different things like that. So I got
Yeah.
different technologies that I'm developing as well. But with the independent label, it's not the type of distribution that people would normally gravitate towards.
Yeah.
In other words, I don't just Google, distribution and then sign up like everybody else does to
True.
everything. I
Yeah.
I literally studied it for years, and I got really solid distribution that is it's called SaaS, which is
Okay.
SaaS. So it's software as a service. It means that it's a web platform. So it's not for the average person if you're not technology based or you don't understand, tech stuff. So I literally go in and put everything in myself, boom, and then I can go to different aggregators, to different outlets, and then boom, just hit the button and it goes out there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really good. And I'm developing a couple of artists on the label right now. A couple of them I've worked with years ago, and they're still, doing things, and they still sound really great. So I'm working on that, and just looking forward to the future.
Mm. I'm just so excited, and I'm so excited that you are bringing that real R&B back, which I'm excited about it. Anything you're doing, I'm here to support you, and I'm so proud of you. And thank you so much from the bottom of my heart because you really, really are a legend. You really have changed the game for so many of us that grew up listening to you, your music, and soundtracks of our lives. Because you definitely been on so many soundtracks, but you have really, really made your stamp in the legacy in R&B, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
Well, we got to make sure that you do another one with me,
Yes.
and what I'll do then is I'll play some bangers for you.
I
Let me
got
just
you.
explain something.
Okay.
I'm not the type of producer or the type of person that overextends myself on social media, because I truly believe, and I've been told this before, my process is proprietary. What I do is unique to me. I can make a hit on any artist. I understand the tools. I understand the methodology. I got it. That's another reason why I'm GoalFingaz, because my goal is to win, and I will win. I've been told I'm going to win. I believe I'm going to win. It's going to happen. So the next time we'll do another one. It'll be like a show and tell.
I got
and
you.
I'll play some more hits for you.
I got you. I got you.
Absolutely.
I got you. My friend Daryl, like, you know, I got you too. So, you know, you coming out with them hits. I'm just so proud of you. And Mr. Berkeley, thank you so much for just a beautiful 25 plus years you've been doing R&B music and all type of stuff. You really, really have made your legacy, and I just want to honor you and give you your flowers anytime you're on my platform. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much. I
Thank
believe
you.
in your work, girl. You're doing a
Aww.
great job.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, guys, you know, thank you since we are in our live today with Mr. Berkeley. So dope from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. So now, guys, I have a huge announcement to make y'all. Next Saturday, this is crazy. Next Saturday, I have y'all R&B legend, songwriter, producer. This man has made hits since 1995. I'm beyond happy to have this man on my platform. We are going to be celebrating him. I am so excited, y'all. I will be having the R&B legend, singer, songwriter, and producer, Mr. John B. John B. next Saturday will be coming on my platform, guys. We are going to be celebrating the 20th anniversary of Pleasures You Like. I'm so excited later to have him on my platform. We are going to be celebrating, enjoying, and talking about the legacy of his work, talking about Pleasures You Like, and just talking about what the impact he has made in R&B. So join me next Saturday for that at the 3 o'clock Pacific time hour, 5 o'clock Eastern time. Also on the 21st, that day after, please join me with my friend Darius Robinson. We are going live from the host of No Goofy Shit. We are going to be celebrating the R&B song relationship episode 9. We are going to be doing the 15th anniversary of LaToya Lucky's song Torn. So please join me next Saturday, guys, and just give us our flowers for the legend John B. John B, y'all, he is going to be talking to us. We're going to have so much fun with him. And also next Sunday, please join me with my friend Darius for the 15th anniversary of R&B Song Relationships for LaToya Lucky's Torn. So thank you so much, Mr. Berkeley, from the bottom of my heart. I am forever grateful for you, and I definitely am so proud of you and your legacy. And if you got them hits, let me know. I'm only one call away. I got you, okay?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, and I love it. You be grinding. You be working.
I don't
I
play.
love that.
I don't play. I want to make
Good.
sure my R&B legends are forever honored. And
Yes.
you, like your fellow producer, Daryl Delight, I love him so much. He was one of my first producers I did on my show. So the impact of producers is really, really awesome that I love the most. And Rodney Jerkins, he's my favorite producer, but it's just the groundbreaking stuff that y'all do for the sound and for R&B just means so much to me. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I forever will give you my your roses
Beautiful.
on my platform. God bless you, and thank you so much, y'all. We are done with our beautiful interview with Mr. R&B legend, producer, Mr.
Peace.
Eddie Berkeley. Bye. Love you so much. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Love y'all too. Peace.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.